Meghan Markle wants the truth now, huh? That's funny coming from someone who spent years avoiding it like it's a disease. In her latest interview that lasted about an hour and a half, the Duchess of Deflection sat down to talk and give us a lot of sugar-coated nonsense with some buzzwords and a lot of confidence. It's the most Meghan thing ever, acting like she's being honest while avoiding the real questions everyone's been asking for years. She says she just wants people to tell the truth about her. Cool, let's start with the one thing she won't do. Release the bullying report that's locked away at Buckingham Palace. Yeah, the one that supposedly has bad testimony from her old staff. If she really cares about being transparent, why are those people still tied up in NDAs? Instead, we get a long speech about how misunderstood she is, how hurt she's been, and how real she's trying to be. But yeah, I wrapped season 1 of my Netflix series and still had to promote it. Still had to be in the edits for season 2. We were working on season 1 while also editing season 2. It's nonstop. I just finished editing season 2. She even talks about being hood and ghetto when people lie about her. Like, what are you even talking about, Meghan? You're drinking fancy tea in Montecito, not throwing shoes at people in a laundromat in the Bronx. But okay, you're a Libra and you get mad when people don't see your truth. Got it. She quickly changes topics. First, she's talking about people lying about her, then she's fangirling over Serena Williams and talking about how great her jam is. That's literally what happens in this interview. When things get uncomfortable, she switches to complimenting her own taste in jam or praising her business skills. It's like a distraction, so she doesn't have to deal with the tough questions. Let's talk about this jam, shall we? If you thought this was going to be a big business moment, think again. Meghan talks about how proud she is to have invested in herself, using Harry's inheritance to build a business that's only made headlines and not much else. To her, it's all luxury vibes for under $20. That's right, she's trying to build a fancy brand with fruit preserves and a twerking video on Instagram. Martha Stewart and Gwyneth Paltrow should be worried, apparently. Meghan thinks she's coming for their thrones, but no one even knows where to buy her products. She talks like she's building the next Chanel, but all she's really built is a revolving door of staff and a public image fueled by hype and failure. Oh, and her staff? About that. She casually mentions in the interview that she no longer believes in decision by committee. Translation, she's done pretending to care what her team thinks. She'd rather have a few hand-picked yes men around and ignore everyone else. This is the same woman who loves talking about being part of a team. It's only a team when they agree with her. The moment someone disagrees or doesn't match her vision, they're fired. That's why she's gone through more staff than a bad sitcom. She even tries to change the meaning of imposter syndrome, saying it's actually when you act like you know everything, which is funny because Meghan acts like she's the CEO of the world. She flat out says she doesn't feel like an imposter at all, that she's exactly where she's supposed to be. And that's the real Meghan shining through. No humility, no reflection, just this strong belief that she's always right. There's a moment in the interview where Meghan casually drops that her kids, yes, Archie and Lilibet, sell fruit and veggies at the local farmer's market like it's a normal weekend activity in Montecito. You know, just a regular royal-adjacent family, teaching their kids the value of money by selling cucumbers next to Karen and her gluten-free muffins. The way she tells it, it's all sweet and wholesome. Gardening, community, learning about counting and pricing. But then she changes the mood completely and starts complaining that other brands are making money off the clothes her kids wear. The tone switches from Earth Mother to "Where's my cut?" super fast. The contradiction is wild. One second, she's preaching about not taking things personally and teaching her kids values. Next, she's upset she's not getting a commission because someone liked her daughter's dress. That's the thing with Meghan. She turns everything into a brand strategy. Her kids, her clothes, her kitchen jam, it's all marketable content in her eyes. Even the idea of her taking a break from podcasting was spun as a choice made because of high demand. Reality check. Her podcast flopped harder than her Spotify deal, but you'd never know it from how she talks about it. She goes into full TED Talk mode, explaining why she shut down the podcast. Apparently, it's not because no one was listening, it's because she needs to focus on her business. She says, "The only thing I want spread thin is my jam." Like, okay, Meghan, we get it. You're quirky and clever and totally not losing it because your projects keep failing. But this was her chance to be real and admit the podcast didn't work. She insists she's putting it on pause by choice. It's always a pivot, never a failure. The arrogance peaks when she talks about not being afraid of failure. She says she doesn't think about failing because there's no such thing. Every mistake is just a learning opportunity. And she's apparently been dreaming of this business forever, but what she's actually built is a few jars of jam, some PR noise, and a Netflix deal that looks more like a charity project than a real partnership. Yet somehow, she thinks this is the start of a legacy. Fortnum and Mason, but with twerking. Then she compares herself to Martha Stewart and Gwyneth Paltrow. The interviewer throws it out as a compliment, and Meghan just runs with it. No modesty, no pushback, just a long explanation of why her $20 lifestyle goods are different. She says she wanted the brand to be affordable, not luxurious, which would be fine if it wasn't wrapped in luxury packaging and sold through Instagram hype. It's like she's trying to play both sides, approachable businesswoman and elite trendsetter. But the identity crisis is obvious. Even her thoughts on imposter syndrome are out of sync. She says she's never felt it and is exactly where she's supposed to be, leading her team with confidence. Except if you've ever actually led something real, you know confidence isn't loud, it's steady. Her version of confidence looks more like denial. Every failure is rebranded as a pivot, every awkward truth covered in PR gloss. It's exhausting to watch because beneath all that branding, there's this clear refusal to be vulnerable. Meghan wants everyone to think she's unstoppable, unbothered, and in complete control. But the more she talks, the more it feels like she's trying to convince herself. At one point, Meghan is asked who she looks up to, someone who has inspired her along the way. Simple question, right? For most people, it's easy to name someone, a mentor, family member, or public figure. But Meghan, nothing. She avoids it, dances around it, and doesn't give a real answer. That moment is more telling than anything else in the entire interview. It's not that she doesn't have idols, it's that she doesn't want to share credit with anyone. The spotlight is hers and hers alone. Instead, she talks about how much she's learned about herself and how easily she bounces back and adapts when things change. Like when things fall apart, she just spins in another direction and pretends it was all part of the plan. That would be empowering if it didn't sound so much like, I mess up a lot, but I'm good at spinning it. She wants it to sound like grace under pressure, but it just feels like someone constantly shifting gears to avoid taking responsibility. There's a moment where she says her biggest lesson has been learning how to enjoy the process, to find the fun in business. But it's hard to believe she's enjoying it when everything about her vibe says she's defensive. She talks faster, interrupts more, and gets more irritable as the questions go on. And the longer she talks, the more it's clear she doesn't want an interview, she wants a monologue. She doesn't want a conversation, she wants to control the whole narrative. She even says that people can feel when she's involved in something, that it's her presence that makes a brand work. That's not just ego, that's cult leader energy. And it all builds up to her big plan, going global. Meghan wants to take her brand worldwide. Apparently, this jam is going to change the world. She says it's all about sharing, but really it's about control. She needs people to believe her version of events, not just in California, but everywhere. Because if the story fails in the US, she needs a backup market ready. Then comes the most uncomfortable moment of all. The conversation turns back to her kids, and Meghan talks about how their clothes are being sold by other people. She sounds really annoyed that she's not getting a cut. It's like she sees her kids as intellectual property. The line between being a parent and building a brand is completely blurred. She even admits she wants more control over it because others are making money from it. That's not about protecting your kids. It's about trying to own their value before anyone else can. She talks about how she and Harry are teaching the kids the value of money by having them sell vegetables and learn about pricing and community. But how does that match up with the PR spin she puts on every post with their faces? It's not about lessons or values, it's about optics. Meghan is building a story, not living one. And the scariest part is that she might not even see the difference anymore. By the end, she comes back to her favorite theme, how much she cares, how personal it all is. She says it's okay to cry, to take things to heart, but only when it's about her. Not her family, not the staff she fired, not the people she's dragged through the media, just her. Everything is through Meghan's lens, always. And no matter how she spins it, people can feel that.